By 2030, America won't look anything like the country you're living in today. Prices are rising faster than anyone can keep up. People are juggling 2, sometimes 3 jobs just to stay afloat. Cities are filling with tents and families living out of their cars. And AI is quietly sliding into every industry we once believed was safe. And the truth is, most Americans aren't ready for what's coming. For years, the cost of living has been growing faster than American income. Healthcare is getting more expensive. College is getting more expensive. Housing is becoming completely unreachable for an entire generation. And yet, wages have barely moved. Everyone feels the pressure, but almost nobody understands the timeline. Because all of these problems, every single one, are on track to collide in 2030. More than 20 million Americans have packed up and left the states they once called home. California, New York, Illinois. The places that symbolized opportunity are shrinking for the first time in modern history. Meanwhile, cities like Austin, Miami, Phoenix, Nashville are exploding overnight. Rent is rising, traffic is choking, infrastructure can't keep up. This migration isn't random. It's a sign of a country quietly rearranging itself. And here's the scary part. This is only the beginning. Everyone thinks AI will replace low-skilled work first, but that's not true. The first wave of disruption is hitting high-income white-collar jobs. Law, finance, marketing, media, design, consulting. Work that once took teams of people now takes minutes. Hours of effort are collapsing into a single AI prompt. By 2030, nearly 40% of American jobs will change in ways we're not prepared for. And here's the twist nobody expects. The real shock won't come from the AI we create, but from the AI that replaces us faster than we can adapt. So the real question isn't, is America changing? It's, who will survive this transformation? And who's about to get crushed by it? For years, Americans have been told a simple story. Don't worry. As things get more expensive, your paycheck will catch up. But that hasn't happened. Not even close. Wages in America have barely moved in 2 decades. While rent, groceries, gas, health insurance, and tuition have skyrocketed, people are working harder than ever, yet somehow feeling poorer each year. This isn't an accident. It's a structural shift that most Americans still don't see. And here's the painful truth. 2030 is the year millions will finally realize their income isn't coming to save them. Most people think automation hits blue-collar workers first. Factory workers, drivers, retail. But the first wave of disruption is happening somewhere else, right in the heart of white-collar America. AI writes marketing campaigns in seconds. It drafts legal documents. It analyzes financial models faster than entire teams. Work that used to require years of training now happens through a single prompt. This is why the American middle class is under threat. Not because people aren't working, but because their skills are losing value faster than they can adapt. This is the silent force erasing the middle class, and 2030 is the tipping point. A lot of Americans are waiting for the housing market to reset, to cool off, to finally become affordable again. But the fundamentals all point the other direction. Demand is still higher than supply. Building new homes keeps getting more expensive materials, labor, permits. Property taxes are rising. Interest rates are unpredictable. Every pressure pushes prices upward, not down. And here's the part nobody wants to admit. By 2030, housing will be the dividing line between the haves and the have-nots. The people who own property will build wealth automatically, and the people who don't will struggle to ever catch up. Millions of Americans believe they can outrun the cost of living crisis. Just move to Florida, Texas, Arizona, Tennessee, the Carolinas. But something is happening in those states too. As people flood in, rent rises, traffic explodes, infrastructure strains. Local wages don't keep up with the new demand. Miami, Austin, Phoenix, once affordable havens, are now some of the fastest rising markets in the entire country. You can run from high costs, but the high costs will follow you. Because by 2030, no state will be truly safe. Not from population booms, not from inflation, not from economic pressure. For decades, Americans have believed in a simple story. We'll figure it out. We always do. But the forces reshaping the country are bigger than optimism. Political polarization at record highs. Climate crises hitting harder. Federal debt climbing past anything seen in history. And internal migration splitting the country into two very different Americas. These aren't temporary problems. They're long-term structural shifts. If you thought 2020 was chaotic and 2024 was tense, 2030 will redefine what instability feels like. Because the next decade isn't about small changes. It's about a nation transforming faster than its people can adjust. The fall of the American middle class. For decades, the middle class was the backbone of American life. A single income could support a family, buy a home, send kids to school, live comfortably. But that world is disappearing faster than most people realize. Today, income simply cannot keep up with the cost of being alive. Housing, food, healthcare, childcare, transportation, every necessity is rising faster than wages. That's why more Americans than ever are working 2, sometimes 3 jobs just to survive. And if nothing changes, by 2030, something historic will happen. For the first time in modern history, the American middle class will fall below 50% of the population. Not because people are lazy, but because the economic floor beneath them is collapsing. The 2030 housing reality. If you think housing is unaffordable now, 2030 will be far worse. Nearly 70% of Gen Z is projected to not afford a home by then. Not because they don't work hard, but because the market no longer rewards hard work. Real estate is consolidating into the hands of the wealthy, large investors, and corporations that buy entire neighborhoods at once. This isn't a housing market anymore. It's a competition between ordinary people and billion-dollar portfolios. And by 2030, America will look less like a nation of homeowners and more like Renters America, a country where ownership becomes a privilege instead of a norm. The AI economy of 2030. AI isn't coming for jobs someday. It's happening right now. Tasks that once took teams now take seconds. Entire workflows have collapsed into automated layers. But here's the twist. AI isn't just destroying jobs. It's creating new ones faster than most people can even see. AI-assisted freelancing, remote AI operators, automation supervisors, digital contracting. The labor market is splitting in two. People who know how to use AI and people waiting to be replaced by it. By 2030, salaries will hinge on a single question. Can you compete with AI or can you command it? Because the gap between those two groups will define the next American economy. Cities that rise and cities that fall. For the first time in American history, the nation is shifting its geographic center. Cities like Austin, Miami, Raleigh, Nashville, once considered secondary, are exploding with new industries, new migrants, new money. Meanwhile, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago are battling crime waves, shrinking populations, collapsing tax bases, and runaway housing costs. This isn't random movement. It's a rewiring of the entire country. Companies are relocating, families are relocating, talent is relocating, and the old power cities of America are being replaced by new ones at lightning speed. For the first time in history, America is changing its map. Healthcare and the debt explosion. The American healthcare system is reaching a breaking point. Costs are rising 5-7% every year, far outpacing inflation and wages. By 2030, millions of Americans will face a reality where basic medical care becomes financially impossible. And then there's debt. Student loans are back. Credit card debt is at record highs. Medical debt is crushing families nationwide. Debt is no longer a temporary burden. It has become a defining class marker. In the 2030 seconds, you won't ask someone what they earn. You'll ask what they owe. Debt will be the new dividing line of American society, a politically divided America. America is splitting into two versions of itself, not metaphorically, literally. America is still powerful, but no longer equal. America isn't collapsing, it's transforming. The opportunities are still here. In technology, in entrepreneurship, in innovation, in mobility, but they're no longer distributed evenly. Some people are moving upward faster than ever before. Others are falling behind, even while working harder than they ever have. The difference isn't luck, it's preparation. The people who study these trends, who see the signals early, who adapt before they're forced to, will rise in the new America. But the people who wait until change hits them will find themselves running to catch up in a world that no longer slows down. America is still strong, just not equally strong for everyone. Skills matter more than location. For decades, Americans were told, where you live decides your future. Not anymore. AI literacy now matters more than your zip code. Personal finance habits matter more than state tax rates. Remote work opportunities matter more than the city on your driver's license. The new economy rewards people who can move fast, learn fast, and rebuild fast. And that means one thing: flexibility is the new security. Your ability to shift careers, upgrade your skills, use AI instead of competing with it, and take advantage of remote work will decide where you stand in 2030, not the state you live in, not the school you went to, not the job you used to have, but your capacity to adapt. The people who understand change will win 2030. Everything happening right now is connected. The housing crisis, AI disruption, migration between states, the rising cost of living, the political divide that's widening every year. These aren't separate problems. They're pieces of the same story. And the people who understand that story, who recognize the forces shaping the next decade, gain an advantage that most Americans never will. Because once you see the pattern, you can position yourself ahead of it. And that is the difference between thriving in 2030 and simply trying to survive it. If you're watching this video all the way to this point, you're not behind. You're ahead. If you want a deeper breakdown on the AI jobs that will rise, the cities worth moving to, or the future of housing in America from 2030 to 2040, drop a topic in the comments. Your question might be the next video. And trust me, you'll want to understand what's coming next.